Did you, in some way, alter the dwarven rings, yes or no? No.
We did.
What are you talking about?
These are matters of spirit, as much as craft. This time we brought deceit into the process.
Deceit? What deceit could you possibly...
The letter.
Oh. No, that was...
You lied.
That was not a lie.
Your High King consented to the 3, but the 7 we forged beneath a cloak of deception. You must go to Lindon forthwith and confess the truth to your High King, or matters will worsen.
No, do that, he would never permit me to forge anything again.
It is either that, or we plunge straight on, even deeper into the maelstrom.
Providence, Rhode Island. Welcome to the Rings of Power with Mary and Blake. It's a podcast dedicated to the Rings of Power on Amazon Prime Video. So sit back, relax, and let's chat the glory of the Second Age. Everybody, and welcome back. My name is Mary Larson.
My name is Blake, and I think that there's a lot that you can say about Rings of Power, but the best thing that you can say about Rings of Power, and I think the thing that stands out most, is what they are doing with Sauron / Anatar and Celebrimbor. That sequence was just perfection. Like just watching it right now, as we're playing it at the top of our episode, it gave me goosebumps.
It's like the foil to the bromance between Elrond and Durin, the season 1, where we're just like, oh my God, this is the best in every single episode. If you had time with those two bros, you were on cloud 9. Well, now, anytime you're with these two bros,
oh man,
you
it's
are
great.
Feeling all the awkwardness.
And it's great awkwardness. It's that tension that you just, like, we all know what's going to happen. And just seeing how that unfolds is breathtaking.
Yeah.
Like, and the way that they're writing it and directing it is freaking awesome. I cannot get enough of this. Just like, as you said, Mary, the bromance that existed last season with Elrond and Durin.
It was unbelievable.
If there's just one thing I could take from this season, it's this. It's awesome.
Agreed.
Oh God, it's awesome.
Agreed. So everybody, we would just want to thank you so incredibly much for hanging on out with us, especially our friends at jointhenerdclan.com, because, you know, honestly, those of you who are members there, you keep the lights on in the studio. You help make this and all of our other podcasts possible. So I just want to thank you and thank your just your patience for when it takes us some time to get episodes out. I am teaching this year and I'm back in the classroom. And for anybody who's a teacher, you know, your first year back in the classroom, your first couple of years, when you're kind of settling into your new groove, you feel like you are as busy as, Durin and his friends, just like trying to mine all the time, trying to find all of those little potential holes of sunlight. So thank you for your patience. We absolutely love this show, and we are so grateful, once again, for those of you who support us at jointhenerdclan.com.
All right, Marvin, you ready to get into the episode?
I sure am.
Let's do it.
This is the 5th episode of Season 2, Halls of Stone, and if you need a little reminder, this is when Daddy Durin uses his new Rings of Power.
Ooh, I like that,
blue.
Daddy Durin.
Yeah, right? There's Prince Durin and Daddy Durin.
I like that.
It's more like Granddaddy Durin, but we'll call him Daddy for now. Daddy Durin uses his pretty blue ring. It is. To help find the sunlight. He brings the sunlight to Khazad-dûm.
Or a great band name.
And it is, yes, it is. But the ring, of course, has some of its downfalls, and it's kind of weirding people out. Disa finds some like creepy rumblings down in the basement and freaks her out, and we're like, well, that's because that's what happens in basements in New England. Oh, sorry. Khazad-dûm. And in Aragon,
basements in New England are very much like Khazad-dûm.
Region. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, God. Yeah, you just don't go down to your basement.
You just don't do it.
Just you watch any of those creepy movies and you're like, that can't be true. Yes.
It's impossible for you to go into your basement after watching The Conjuring. You cannot do it.
Which honestly, guys, took place in Rhode Island.
Exactly.
Like the Conjuring house is a real thing here. No, thank you. No thanks. We're just told.
It's just a bunch of old rocks and dirt
set.
floors
All
with
set,
a
man.
rickety old
that like pilgrims made and witches were all set.
rickety
all
old stairs that you're not quite sure have enough nails in them.
Oh my God. I'm not kidding, guys. Like everyone's like, oh, Salem. I'm like, this is real life here. Okay. So in a Region, Anatar, Sauron, Halbrand, is able to convince Celebrimbor and that beautiful bromance that we need to make these rings because you messed up, Celebrimbor. It wasn't anybody else. It was you, Cal. And then they get some like fun, like happy moments for 2 seconds in Region. And let's see what else happens. Oh, Pharazôn, friggin' Numenor. He's like, hey, son, go like get rid of those faithful people. And the saddest thing in my entire life happens. And Valandil gets killed. Mm-hmm. And it really makes me sad. So there you go. That's what happens.
Just be thankful it's not, what's his name, the elf that you like.
Oh my God. Arendir?
Arendir. Just be thankful it's not him.
If Arendir gets killed this season,
I'm
my
goodness,
to die. But Valandil was like my second favorite.
Okay.
Well, Elrond.
Elrond
Arendir,
is your second favorite.
Valandil's my favorite in Numenor, because let's be real, those people
because everyone else in Numenor sucks.
Okay.
That's the problem. They all
So Valandil's my favorite Numenorian.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so that is your recap for this episode. Blake, tell me the details.
Directed by Sanaa Hamri. You should know that name because she directed the last episode. And Louise Hooper, this is her 3rd episode in a row directing. She's serving as not the second director, but the partner director for the 3rd episode in a row. And their writer was Nicholas Adams. You may not remember that name, but Nicholas Adams wrote, I would say, Mary, probably the best Rings of Power episode so far, Udun. That was not the penultimate, but the one prior to the penultimate episode of last season, season 1. And that is the episode where Galadriel captures Adar, and they have that great one-shot scene in the barn, and she interrogates him. Mm-hmm. Oh, I loved that scene. Like, that was the best. So cool.
Awesome
sauce.
All
right, your rings rating, Mary. How many rings are you giving this episode?
Oh, goodness me. I keep going with the 4.8 because I have to leave breathing room, but I got to tell you, this one moves up to a 4.85.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Mary. This is a 4.82 for me. And it's because, I mean, it's probably not a coincidence because Nicholas Adams wrote it, but also I feel like, again, this feels like it belongs in the Lord of the Rings universe. Mm-hmm. And there are things that are happening. There are relationships
it does belong, Blake.
I know, but you know what I mean. There's sometimes some episodes that like feel like it's a play and it feels kind of chintzy and cheesy. But this one feels like it belongs in that universe. And more importantly, I love seeing how the Rings of Power are playing out and that it's not just, ooh, evil Sauron making these rings and somehow he got these people to wear them and like everyone can point the finger at Sauron. Oh, no. These rings were made, but these people got these rings based on self-preservation for one reason or another. And you can't just point at Sauron for being evil. They have to also kind of point the thumbs here too and be like, yeah, this is kind of our fault as well here. And yeah, we may have gotten duped, but again, not again, but where does that line of being duped and then personal responsibility begin and end? Right? And that's why I love this episode, because it highlights that.
Awesome.
So that's your GBG. You're good, you're bad, and you're great.
My good is all the time in Khazad-dûm, and it was, riveting, except, there was one moment that I was like, this is slightly cheesy, but honestly, I am just so in it to win it with Khazad-dûm. I know that this is one of the many lands that we're going to see go under during this show, and I just love the jolliness of the people for the most part, even when times are tough. We're still going birthday present shopping, and yet there is darkness below. They're searching for the light above, and there were some really cool things that happened. We had the Doors of Durin in this episode, which seemed almost blink and you'll miss it, but I just loved it. I love all things Khazad-dûm. I'm just here for all the dwarfs in this episode. I'm really happy with the dwarfs. My bad, Kevin. And I know that's not his real name. I didn't know that wasn't his real name, though, until I looked it up. His name is Kemen. It is Pharazôn's son.
No, he looks like a Kevin.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Okay, he looks like a Kevin. He acts like a Kevin. And for Kevin's listening, I apologize. It's not you. It's this guy.
In other words, Mary's saying you suck.
No, it's you know what it is? It's like the what's the thing that, it's like a Karen. So Karen's listening, must be like, God, Mary, don't say it. But like Karen's become a thing?
Yes.
Or it's just like a rather basic name. Once again, Kevin's listening. My name's Mary. It's as basic as they come. So when I've watched the show, I honestly thought this guy's name was Kevin because I thought the writers were trying to tell us, like, this guy's basic, okay? He doesn't have his own life. He's just basic, okay? That's really how I just felt about Kevin all this time. Home Alone Kevin. What do they say? Like, look what you did, you little jerk. Like, every single Home Alone quote. What's the French one? She's like, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
The little French lady.
I can't remember
Honest to God, guys, you take all the little quotes that all of Kevin McAllister's family says to him on Christmas Eve, you can pop it right in, and you'll be like, that's how I feel about Kemen. That's how I feel about him. Look what you did, you little jerk. All these things. So I've been thinking his name is Kevin, and friggin' hate Kevin in general. Kevin! Yeah. Yeah, but you need, like, when they all say trash about him?
Oh,
when he's
yeah.
standing there. Anyway, that's all I can feel and think in my heart and soul.
Dweeb. Wasn't it like, oh, yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about. So...
Les étains, les compétents, something like that.
All of them work for this guy. I'm telling you, he sucks. And then he kills Valandil. You suck. And you're just doing it because your daddy was like, oh, I'll tell you what your dead mom said about you. Which, by the way, your dead mom said... Yeah, your dead mom said all these, like, bad things about you. And I'm not going to tell you the whole sentence until you take care of business. Kevin.
I'm just going to...
Kevin! Seriously.
I'm just going to keep playing it.
Seriously, guys. Like, that's what went through my head when he stabbed Valandil. That's what I yelled. Just like Kevin's mom from Home Alone. Kevin! Oh. And then my great, Blake, you are going to have to pull something up on Amazon Music. So you're going to have to log in.
Okay.
It's actually Bear McCreary, who has frequently been a great of mine because Bear McCreary can do no wrong. This is the gentleman, of course, who is the composer of this series. And for those of you who do not have Amazon Music, being that you're such a fan of Rings of Power that you listen to our podcast, I'm telling you, you might want to check it out because Bear McCreary drops a new album, like a full album of songs for every single episode. And in this episode in particular, it was fantastic. But the Khazad-dûm theme in episode 5 took a turn. It took a turn for the worse. Can you pull up Khazad-dûm for this? So are you in episode 5?
Yeah, I'm in episode 5.
Okay, so is there Khazad-dûm or like?
I have Unveiling Doors of Durin, Gazing to Erasea,
No.
Disa in the Depths,
No.
Mirdandia Emerges, Assault on the Faithful featuring Clydeen Jackson,
No, it was like the first
Deceit
song.
in the Craft, and Sauron's Design.
It's not the first one.
7 for the Dwarf Lords.
I don't know. I don't think so. I was listening to it anyway. He makes the Khazad-dûm theme, which we're now so used to, minor. And it hits you. So it's while the king is walking around with his hand down the wall and kind of all of this stuff. And it was such a brilliant just use of music that, we have this. Is it 7 of the Dwarf Lords? Let me see. Let's see if I could do it. I'm going to vamp for a second, Blake.
Yeah. Actually, there's...
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. Can you play that one?
I'll play it right now.
7 for the Dwarf Lords. My headphones aren't near me speaking. So just keep listening. Let's see. But like I said, this is, they're doing different shots. So right here, you kind of get a little bit of that minor. But as they get into it, it's like it's just repeatedly ending on a minor chord. Oh no, this is not. Can you go a little faster?
This isn't it? Okay.
It's. Come on, Khazad-dûm. Oh, yes. There it is. Is this it? This might be too happy. This might be like.
Well, this is Khazad-dûm.
Yeah, but this is when. Can you go a little before? Let's see. See, now it's happy because he's like, we bring the light to us. This, yes.
Okay, here it is.
Go a little further back. So you hear like the. Dun, 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 dun. There. Dun, dun. Hear it?
Yep.
So they'll sing it again. They'll kind of like riff on that little thing again. See? All these like sour notes. So then as Daddy Durin, listen to me, give me your axe. Dad, no, give it to me. Let me do what I want to do. And then the music becomes joyful. And as they start yelling, Khazad-dûm, then it flips back to major.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
And I just thought it was so brilliant because we've really gotten used to this thematic presence of the Khazad-dûm theme. And for them to be, for Bear to be weaving these like really sour notes into it while the king is doing bad stuff and using the ring, I just thought it was brilliant. So
here it is. This is the Khazad-dûm again here.
Yes, this is, we bring the sun to us. No longer are we slave to it. Well, it still rises. You think you get to keep it whenever you want? No! Khazad-dûm! Yeah, see how it's happy now. Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, very awesome. Good job, Mary. Good call.
So I really need to give props. Bear just does a great job of weaving in themes throughout this episode. He also does this little bit, where Elrond's like running for like 3 seconds in this episode. He's like trying to hurry up and get to Gilgalad. His theme even plays for like a microsecond in this score. So just it's a real treat if you haven't checked it out. So my great, once again, Bear McCreary. All right, Blake,
awesome.
What do you got?
All right, awesome. For me, my good is the Doors of Durin. I really loved seeing the Doors of Durin. I just think that's a cool thing that if you love Lord of the Rings, like you know what that is and you know what that means, right? And you know what's coming as a result of it. And I think there's a thing, well, no, I don't think that there's a thing. I know that there's a thing, that's like Star Wars syndrome, right? Where we have the prequels and we know what's coming. We know who's going to live. We know who's going to die. And there's just no tension. But sometimes, what?
You just said, I know who's going to die. What if Kevin What if Kevin gets the ring, not his dad? What if it's Kevin?
I don't think Kevin
He's
gets
one
a
of the
ring.
kings.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You know,
Kevin sucks,
who
man.
has to die.
Anyway, so like we know all these things, right? And we know what those doors now, what they mean and what they're supposed to mean. It's supposed to be a token of friendship. It's supposed to celebrate the cooperation between the elves and the dwarves. But we also know the ending of those doors. Well, not the ending necessarily, but where those doors become important and how they become important. And it's a tragedy, really. And this is, I think, the antithesis of Star Wars disease or Star Wars syndrome. This is when you know something has a meaning. But instead of like it being made for what we know is to come, it's made for the opposite, and that how that transition is dealt with. So, like I said, the Doors of Durn are meant to be things of friendship and kinship and harmony, and really, what they end up becoming is marking doom for Moria and the Casa Doom. And
I wish that they had had a little bit longer to show their creation and kind of the work that, Narvi and Celebrimbor were able to do to create this. You could tell that they're really proud and happy and celebrating.
And I also like the little call out, too, that they didn't say the password, but if you know what the password is, because eventually it gets figured out in Lord of the Rings, like you're like, oh, he just admitted the password in front of this entire community here. And I really like those little things. And some of you can call it fan servicey, some of it can call fanboyism, and that's fine. I like those kind of things where you get a chance to see. It's like that meme from Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV. Oh, I recognize the thing. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But if you love it, that's why it works. And I love that. My bad. Freaking Disa chasing after that little orb.
That's how I feel, though, sometimes when I'm running after something where you almost laugh at yourself. You're like, how is this still... have you ever lost like a piece of paper?
Yes.
And you're like, oh my God. Why am I still chasing after this
stupid thing?
I look ridiculous. I am a grown up and I either need to run or I just need to know that the less that I run, the more I'm just going to have to keep walking after this thing. Because if Disa had just hustled and dove after it like a football player, she would have gotten it right away.
And I hate that awkward part when you feel like, okay, should I run or should I walk?
So she chose to walk.
So, but then you're
so far away.
But if you're in that situation, then you have to make that awkward transition of like, okay, I don't want to run, but I can't walk. So you kind of do like that fast walk.
Yeah.
And it's like when moms or dads are chasing after their kid and like they don't want to look like an idiot. So because they have to run, but they don't want to look like that bad.
This is just you. I always have run.
Oh my God.
I have always run. You're the one that's like, uh-oh.
So, but one of the things that was bothering me about this is like, oh, it's rolling. Like,
no, Disa.
Yeah,
Disa.
Disa.
You said he.
Oh, no, one of the things that's bothering me about this is when she says, oh, it's rolling. Like, come on.
Listen.
It's rolling.
There are some people, myself included, that would narrate things like that out loud.
So awkward.
To explain why I'm randomly running after something.
And then the other thing I don't like about this is that the crystal goes into this freaking
singing stone.
Whatever. Goes into this massive cave. It is enormous. And Disa doesn't know about it.
Yep.
And it's not like this thing just rolled for days. It rolled for about maybe 30 seconds.
Once again,
out of
I'm
her
going
sight.
to bring it to real life, Blake. How many times have I taken you somewhere and you're like, I never knew this existed?
Yeah, but it's not like we're confined to a mountain.
Blake, I will take you somewhere in our own city.
That's different.
No, it's not.
No, it's totally different.
This mountain is bigger than a city.
It's totally different.
No. It's not. It's real life.
If it rolls for 30 seconds, it means it's 30 seconds off of that causeway. And if that's the case, how does nobody know about this cave? How does she like, oh, look at this? Like, get out of here, dude. Like, that was a little much for me to accept.
Okay, Blake.
All right, and my great is the scene between Daddy Durin and Prince Durin. And if there's a show can do many things, Mary, but if it does two things, then I'm totally in. One, if it does synth music. Unfortunately, we don't have synth music into this show, but what we do have are daddy issues, and we got major daddy issues in this scene, especially when Prince Durin goes to speak to Daddy Durin about, hey, I have this concern. This is a real problem. And Daddy Durin goes ahead and gives Prince Durin exactly what he wants this entire time, and that is to be a prince again. And the problem for him, for Prince Durin, is that he cannot get to his father anymore. That's to me, that signifies the end. Once he accepts that thing that he wears, that's it. And that's why Disa looks at it and she knows, oh, this is a real issue. And I love that. And I love that. And this again it ties back into what I said at the top of our episode, where it's like, these people cannot just point the finger. They have to point the thumb as well for how these rings came about and then how they were proliferated throughout their societies and how Sauron got his power. It wasn't just, hey, I'm Sauron, look at me. It's like, oh, no. These people got to own it as well. And this is a perfect example of that. Awesome. So that is my GBG.
Awesome.
So, Mary, what else stands out to you in this episode? I can also say one other thing, too, and that is the whispers that come about when Daddy Durin puts on the ring. And then when he takes it off, he channels Gollum a little bit there. Well, what'd you do with it? Where is it? What have you done? And the guy's like, dude, it's right there. You took it off. You said your hand was heavy. Oh, it is. You know, I really liked that scene. Is there anything else that stands out to you?
It kind of reminds me of people who are addicted to their phones.
Yeah.
And they take their phones off and then they think their phone is like ringing or vibrating and it's not even with them. It's like a phantom vibration.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone knows what I'm talking about because like we're all sadly addicted to it.
That's happened to me many times.
But it reminded me of it a lot. I don't know. Which scene do you want to delve into? Do you want to go? Do you want to go with Anatar? Do you want to go with the creator of these rings and this problem?
Well, you know what other scene kind of jumped out to me too is the scene with High King Gil-galad when he puts on the ring and he sees Sauron.
Sees him?
Like he sees like the
crown.
Yeah, when he has his visions.
What's up with all these fish, man? Come on. We saw the fish with Cal, the original Cal, the old guy who made the boats and everything, the one that Elrond went to go try to get rid of the rings.
Yes,
and remember he was like, Círdan. Remember he was like, oh, look what this ring can do. And it honestly made a fish jump out of water, and he then put the fish back in.
Yes.
So now the king's seeing all of these fish out of water. What's up with the fish?
What's up with the fish, bro?
And then all the exploding things. I gotta tell you, between the Palantirs and all these rings, his one sucks the most.
Why do you say that?
He has visions of fish. Visions of fish and blowing up things. At least Galadriel's is a bit more making sense, and the Palantirs, a bit more detail. Where are these fish? What is blowing up? Galadriel's tells her where things are, gives her a bit more detail of people.
Before we continue, Mary, let's take a moment to thank our partners in creating this episode. When your boy was killed, Mary.
Which boy?
The one
Valandir?
Yeah, Valandir. You had an audible gasp.
Oh my God, I was so upset.
Like,
Kevin.
Yeah. Like,
how did Kevin do that? How did Kevin with a smashed arm
good point.
pick up a giant heavy sword enough to stab someone all the way through? Give me a freaking break, Kevin.
I can't say that he had his other hand. Like, he had his other arm.
If my arm was crushed, I would not be able to do that.
That's fair. That's fair. And it doesn't feel to me that Kevin is the kind of guy that like goes to the gym all that much.
But maybe it was just anger and strength. And my daddy told me to take care of this business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take care of it.
There's a part of me that just wanted him to drown.
Wanted who? Valandir?
Yeah, just wanted him to drown Valandir.
Oh my God.
Like, to me, that would have been...
I think that this was better, though, because you really get to see how bad of a guy Kevin is, and you get to see...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think either way, you would have found out how bad of a guy Kevin is.
Yeah, but Elendil's able to say, like, just put the sword down, son, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And now the guilt he's going to have.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
He thinks he's lost Isildur. He has lost all of Isildur's friends that he treats like sons.
Yep.
Valandir has been like his right-hand man. Valandir's the one that out of all of these guys truly lived the soldier's life.
Yes.
He was the one, when the captain's on deck, captain's leaving, like he's the one that has always really treated Elendil with utmost captain respect. And he's been like a son to him all along, but especially now while Isildur's been faux dead, even more so. And now it's because of him telling him to put down his sword. He's going to know, I'm part of the reason that Valandir's dead.
Why do you think Kevin is like such a dick?
Daddy issues.
Yeah, you think he's got the big daddy issues too?
Oh my God. Tolkien is all about, if there can be something wrong with someone, it is a daddy issue. Morgoth, Sauron, daddy issue. I mean, not real dad, but you know what I mean.
But basically,
Still,
might as well be.
Spider dad. Yeah.
Spider dad.
Elrond, his dad is stuck up in the sky taking care of a friggin' star. Daddy issue.
Major daddy issue.
Daddy Durin, Prince Durin, daddy issues.
Speaking of that, for some reason, I'm reminded of
Theo, no dad. Big daddy issues.
Big daddy issues. Oh. We were talking about Anatar and how he convinces Celebrimbor, essentially, to keep going, where he's like, listen, either you go confess to your High King, or we just go deep even further, and we make the 9 rings for the men to make up for what we did with the 7. And Celebrimbor makes a decision ultimately that is self-serving, and okay, we're just going to go deeper to make up for it and hopefully correct this wrong. I'm reminded of last season when Halbrand is telling Galadriel, I don't want to go back to the Southlands. I don't want to go. I just want to stay here in Numenor.
Mm-hmm. And he pleaded with her.
Yeah.
He's like, what makes you want to go back? You are asking me to go to the place that I am telling you I don't want to go. You don't know who I was. You don't know what I did before I came here. And I am telling you, honestly, I do not want to go back there.
Now, I'm reminded of that because clearly Anatar has a purpose for saying to Celebrimbor what he does. Like, as viewers, we can see through that. But looking back on that scene with Galadriel, I find it much more intriguing knowing now what I know and what that means for Halbrand / Sauron. Is there any chance, Mary, that there was truth to that statement? That he truly just wanted to stay in Numenor?
What have I always said about Sauron?
He never lies.
I mean, okay, here's a scoop. He has lied a little bit.
Yes.
Every once in a while. But for the most part, he doesn't lie. If he's telling something really big and long, he's not lying. He did not lie to Galadriel in the sense that, like, I did a lot of evils before I came here. I really don't want to go back. This is something that I'm trying to start a new life. I think that's true.
Even the little locket, he's like, yeah, I found that on a dead man.
Yes. And I think most likely he would have still come to be bad and it just would have taken a lot more time.
Right.
I don't think things would have ended perfectly for him in Numenor, but it was so different and preoccupied him with new things that he could do that I think...
Like, there's a part of me that thinks you're right, Mary. Like,
Yeah,
is
this
there a bit of
Galadriel's
truth to
fault.
it? But or on the other hand, if we're looking at it from a cynical point of view, is he saying to Galadriel just exactly what he needs to say so that she will take him and she will put him in a
No,
a
because
seat?
he asks her in season 1. He's like, why, whose dagger is it that you carry? Why do you so desperately, it's in that conversation, like, why are you so desperately trying to make me go back to the place that I don't want to go back to?
Yeah.
Is this just for revenge? And she says, no, it's not just for revenge. And he says, then why? Why do you keep fighting? And she says, because I can't stop. And it's at that moment his face changes. And I think that's when he was like, I'm in love.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Even though I'm here in Numenor and I think I can be a little blacksmith, the truth of this matter is I can't stop either. I love destruction. I love fighting. This girl loves fighting.
You know what? I really like that take too, Mary. At that point, he recognizes, because what they're doing here, right, just as a tool, is that they're using Galadriel and Sauron as a mirror image of each other, right? Like
Halbrand at that point.
yeah, Halbrand.
Yes.
But even I think Sauron in general, they're using them as a mirror, because Halbrand / Sauron could be what Galadriel becomes if she chose another path, right? I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean,
he even tempts her to do so.
Yeah, I mean, that's when she first says, like, to see the light, you have to first, touch the darkness a little bit.
Right.
And that's when she brings that up. So,
And
I think with what he's doing with Celebrimbor says in this episode, it's so funny. You have this weird way of planting seeds, in people's minds and people thinking that it's their own. Like, everyone sees him for what he is, except for the fact that he's Sauron. They know that whoever they're dealing with is a very smart individual who is not necessarily showing all of their cards. It's weird because, same thing that we learned from Halbrand season 1. Find what they fear, and then give them solutions. And Celebrimbor pretty much says all that in this episode to him.
Sure.
You make me think that this is my idea.
Right.
You're really good at this. And then he still falls victim for it.
He still does it.
He's
And
like, you just said it, buddy.
And the guy who plays Celebrimbor, Charles Edwards, is so good at displaying this kind of torment that he has, especially as Sauron or Anatar takes over the project and is like, hey, listen, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it right? There's that scene where he does this job of like his happiness about the whole thing is taken over when his hands start shaking and he's looking at his hands. You can just feel like it's almost like an anxiety attack, if like in real world terms, it feels like, where he can't control himself. How the kind of anxiety and torment that he's feeling. I got to give Charles Edwards credit. A lot of this has to do with Charlie Vickers and how he's portraying Sauron, but how this guy's playing Celebrimbor makes it even better.
Okay, I have a little theory for you.
Okay.
I don't think Galadriel's going to have a problem with Anatar, because that man is not her style.
Yep.
But if Halbrand form comes back, then she's gonna have a problem.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Anatar doesn't do it for me either. Not gonna lie, like that's just not my type of person right now. I'm not attracted to him. But Halbrand, I might go to the dark side. I might go. I might touch the darkness for a moment. Excuse me,
Just a little bit.
So it'll be interesting to see if he shifts back for her.
Yeah. Well, you know who's into the Anatar life right now?
Oh my God.
Mirdania.
Mirdania,
Oh,
who puts
man.
on a ring, freaks out because she's able to see the Unseed World or the Wraith World or all this kind of stuff. She flippin' sees Sauron.
Right. She sees him as he is.
Yep.
And Sauron's, and you can see it in his face where he's like, ooh, am I blown here? Like, is this, are we going to have an issue? But then he turns it into, yeah, well, that's Celebrimbor, the whole thing. And to seal the deal, He's like, wow, you look just like her. Ooh, oh, Lady Galadriel, of course. And he just touches her hair and just like kind of wisps it away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary, you know how I love when actors or actresses do that kind of thing when they use their physical presence to dominate another actor or actress. It doesn't have to be big and bombastic. It can be small. It can be light. Whether, like we've talked about a million times, Bane putting his hand on the shoulder of Ben Mendelsohn, or in this case,
Blackjack and Outlander does it all the time. Mm-hmm.
Or in this case, it's Anatar and Myrdania, where he just flicks her hair a little bit.
And I honestly see this as twofold. I see it both and. I see it as him trying to butter up Myrdania, but also he still is hankering for a hunk of Galadriel. And it's like,
oh, certainly.
Oh, wow. Like, this hair. Yep, this does it for me too. So, but oddly enough, Myrdania goes invisible, sees the unseen world, does all this, and it's because she was wearing a ring. And it's a ring that wasn't working right. But I flippin' love this because now we've made a ring that can turn the bearer invisible.
Yeah.
They can see the unseen world.
Is this like a prototype, Mary? Is this Sauron working on a prototype for the One Ring?
I don't think he did this on purpose. I truly believe Anatar when he's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Celebrimbor, please. But that boy took notes. He was like,
yeah.
Turn invisible and see my people in their true form. Yeah, we're going to save that recipe for later. So he has notes in his back pocket of chicken scratch notes. How to turn invisible. Add too much mithril. So what because of course, his ring, the ring that Bilbo gets, the ring that Frodo gets, does just this. Lets them be invisible, right. Lets them see the unseen world. So right. I don't think he did this on purpose. I think it was a beautiful accident that he definitely takes note of. So when he makes his ring, I think he's just taking notes all the time.
Sure, why not? Well, he's certainly taking notes on Celebrimbor's because that man is using flattery and Celebrimbor's own personal vain feelings.
But he also kind of snaps every once in a while. You can tell that Anatar, wants to wrap things up quickly. He doesn't like the big Doors of Durin celebration. He doesn't like everybody being happy about the rings.
Well, because I think he knows that he's only got a short amount of time.
Yes.
This can only go for so long.
Yes.
Before somebody else,
Gil-galad, comes over to sing a song.
Right. Or, but in all honesty, Galadriel shows up and it's like, whoa, what?
Who are you, Blondie?
Yeah. Just because you got a new haircut doesn't mean that you ain't Sauron.
And then she'll knock Celebrimbor over the head, be like, how did you not see it? It's the worst. It's like someone just throwing on a mustache.
Or it's like Superman with his glasses.
Celebrimbor, you hung out with this guy with me and I told you not to hang out with him.
What are we doing?
Oh, but he did let him in as Halbrand form.
Yeah, but still, even then.
I know.
I think he knows he's only got a certain amount of time. And that time is quickly coming about. I will say, Mary, we finally have, I think, the point of this show, and that is the Rings of Power, clearly. But we're finally getting to the thing that makes the reason for us watching come about. Like one of the things I think that House of the Dragon falters or fails in is its constant and consistent buildup to the thing that you're watching for. And Rings of Power has been guilty of the same until now. Now I feel like it's delivering on its premise. And it's making it interesting. What do you think about that?
I've enjoyed it all this time, so...
No, I've enjoyed it too. I guess what I'm saying is now we're getting to the meat of what we're here for. Mm. And as I was saying about House of the Dragon, I feel like we haven't gotten there yet with that show, and we finally get to it now.
I guess I wasn't here for the meat. I'm someone who sit me down with the extended edition of The Lord of the Rings, and I will gladly enjoy hours upon hours of hanging out in Middle Earth.
True.
I am someone who, even if there wasn't too much meat to this show, I probably would still honestly enjoy having it on because I love being with these types of people. I love being in these lands. Now, granted, I don't like being around the orcs all the time, but it's a beautiful series. I am having fun listening to Bear McCreary all the time. So to be honest, Blake, I know we haven't gotten to like, okay, here's the big conflict. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them taking their time because I also know the series isn't going on forever. It's not network TV that they can just go on for 20 seasons.
Yeah.
You know, they got 5. So I'm savoring, and I'm okay savoring.
Yeah. How are we feeling about other characters in?
Oh, Aarian needs to.
I'm out on Aarian. I'm out.
Freaking hate her. Okay,
Out.
go off and marry Kevin for all I care. Because Kevin did this partially because she put her arm on Valandir's chest and was like, "I'll hook you up, man. I'll take you. I'll make sure that you're not a traitor."
Right.
And Valandir's like, "Yeah, you suck. Okay, girl."
Yep.
So
He gave her the business.
what's gonna happen to Aarian?
I think she. You want to know what I think will happen?
Tell me.
She's going to have to redeem herself somehow.
Okay.
And I think they're building her up to redeem herself by taking down Farazan.
Oh wow.
Like,
Okay.
Because that's the only, so far at least, that's the only way that she has any connection to the larger story at hand.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I don't like her enough. I don't need her to be part of the larger story at hand. If she just sets her dad free, because he's going to get in trouble right now.
Sure.
Because Kevin's going to say that he's the reason that this whole riot started. If she just makes sure that her dad can go free, and then he can go free, and then she has eternal guilt about Isildur not actually being dead, because she has to live to find out about that.
Yes, right, exactly.
I want her to have lifelong pain that this is what you caused.
The more that I think about it, Mary, I'm thinking about the characters that we're liking and the situations that we're liking, as opposed to the ones that we're not. Right? We've already obviously discussed Elrond and Durin. We love that pairing, right? Because there's a conflict between them, or at least there was a conflict between them, and that relationship was catalyzed as a result. We're loving the stuff with Celebrimbor and Anatar because there's a relationship shared between the two, and that relationship was catalyzed by conflict. We're even liking the stuff with Disa and Durin and his Prince Durin and Daddy Durin. There's a lot going on in these other worlds. But the things that we're not liking are the stuff with Numenor, and we're not liking the Dark Wizard.
Are you into the Muriel and Elendil
No.
little romance?
No, that got nothing to do with it. It feels forced.
Meaning what? It
just feels
forced?
Yeah, I don't feel anything towards it. And I also don't, and I didn't feel anything with Poppy and Nori, and I don't feel anything.
What?
I don't.
You don't feel anything with their friendship?
I mean, And the stranger.
Dead to me.
Not Gandalf. Like, what the interesting thing about the stranger is that he's not Gandalf. And, we know that he is. We know that he's Gandalf. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, at least from what we're watching as of this moment. But, come on, we know he's Gandalf. That's the interesting thing. It's they don't have a relationship to me that stands out as opposed to the other ones. Do you find any of that accurate?
I think that Nori and Poppy's relationship stands out to me.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Nori and the stranger's relationship stands out to me. So it's just very different. I think also you might not have relationships like that where you would quickly kind of go out on a limb for somebody.
No, I would. I do.
That you just met.
No, definitely not someone I just met.
That's what I mean. You're not
no
a Nori.
Chance. No. I would do it for, I think, 3 people that I know.
Yeah. You're a Durin.
Oh, yeah.
You're I haven't seen you in 20 years. Now you have to fight me in a rock competition. And then we can be friends again. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Blake.
And one of the I would say
I think you like the people that are like you.
reason 1072, Mary and Blake are totally different. But work in a beautiful, bonding, awesome way.
I honestly, I'm okay with a Muriel Isildur little budding romance. Good for them.
Muriel and Elendil.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And Elendil, I'm okay with it.
You're out on Isildur and the other chick.
Oh, Estrid?
Estrid, yeah. You're super out on Estrid.
Yeah, I'm out on her right now.
Yeah.
She sucks.
Yeah, she sucks.
No, Muriel and Elendil.
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. I hope they get a little time together to canoodle or something because
Canoodle.
I don't know who watches this show. I try to make it, PG rated.
Sure.
But yeah, I hope that they get to like embrace a little bit more.
I'm sure that it's going to happen.
I don't need it. I don't need some hanky panky in this kind of show between the two of them. But I'm just saying that I feel like if situations weren't as tense as they are, they could have had a good thing going on.
Sure. Well, they're certainly building to that. They're building to the idea that Elendil and Muriel
they're just
do the thing.
Neither of them are at a good place to start a new relationship. You know how those times in life when you got to work on yourself a little bit.
You got to love yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Do a self-scan.
Yeah, only like one major life event at a time.
Yes, yeah,
that kind of
absolutely.
a thing.
Yep.
Not necessarily when your son and all of your son's friends have died because your daughter backstabbed you, and now you're a traitor for the country that you gave your life to.
Right. That's just one too many life events happening.
Yeah.
I do wonder how Elendil becomes king of the men.
I mean, he kind of reminds me of Wesley. As you wish. He's just like
Elendil?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He's like, I will follow you, queen. You're my true queen.
I'm not getting any Wesley vibes out of him.
I mean, he's older.
But it's not that either. It's
just very valiant. I'm here for it.
Sure. No. I mean, I get it. I understand. What it is, Mary. I think
is it inconceivable?
It's inconceivable. I'm not sure if I've had enough time with them to appreciate what's budding between them.
I'm just saying good for them. I'm not saying anything major has to happen. I'm just saying I'm happy for you. There's a little spark.
Okay, fair enough. All right, anything else that you want to talk about in this episode? Oh, there's other thing I want to mention too. High King Galad says, we cannot defeat the armies of Sauron and Adar at the same time. Sauron doesn't have an army yet.
That
Do you notice
he knows
that?
Of.
That he knows of, yeah.
But they know all these crazy, creepy, crawly things keep coming out. So maybe that in and of itself they think of as his army. These creepy worms in the mud, these dead dudes catching you from tree trunks.
Yeah, good point.
He's got his own army. They're just not wearing armor. And, just the dark forces. We see that map with all that black stuff. Army doesn't have to be, as I said, in armor.
Sure.
So
part of me thinks that High King Gil, part of me thinks that Gil knows what's coming.
Fish.
And he can't. It's almost like Avengers Endgame, where he's like, okay, I have seen the end here. And there's only one way that we're going to do this. And I don't even know if it's going to work, but we might as well. I don't know. I get the feeling that he knows way more than he's letting on.
Well, then they need to show us more of his ring visions, because that didn't do it for me.
No, it certainly didn't. But I think it does enough where you're like, oh, at least it puts a question in there. And the question is what matters. And again, tying it back to, this is a prequel. We know what's going to happen. But what's the question that's being answered? And like, how are we questioning it? And how does it get there? And can it do it in an interesting way? Like it did with the Dwarves of Durin. Like, I think that's an interesting way to get it done. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Cool.
Anything else?
That is it.
All right. Want to close this bad boy out?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Well, friends, we hope that you too are enjoying Rings of Power as much as Blake and I am. Thank you so much for hanging out with us as we discuss this episode. If you wanted to send us an email with your feedback and insight in the show, you can. Head on over to your email and email us at maryandblakemedia@gmail.com.
Has anybody had, Mary, a more interesting acting career than Catherine O'Hara, the lady who plays Kevin's mom? I mean, being in Beetlejuice and Schitt's Creek, and she's got a whole. I actually have to go to her IMDb page.
Yeah, I feel like if you're part of the Tim Burton family, you've got some really cool stuff under your belt. She has.
Oh my goodness gracious! I mean, Beetlejuice. She was in Elemental. She was in Elemental.
Yeah, she's done a lot.
She's got a lot of things. Addams Family, Series of Unfortunate Events, Frankenweenie. Yeah, she's got a lot of things.
Helena Bonham Carter. It's just like lots of Tim Burton stuff.
Oh, HBC,
really
man.
Cool things. Yeah.
HBC.
Yeah.
You party with her, she'll leave you in the dust with no clothes on and a stick of gum.
Anyway.
You don't go to Vegas with HBC.
HBC would not do well in Numenor.
No, she would not.
Kemen would lock her right up. What is this? What is this? Dad! Daddy, I still can't get over Farazan. I'll tell you what your mom said later.
Oh, yeah, how manipulative. Daddy issues.
Sucks.
Daddy issues.
And Farazan, is cranky because he can't live forever.
And also, he's going to do the Palantir, too?
Yes! Farazan, what
a clown show.
This is why you are able to kick off the Queen region and then you touch the darn thing. Kevin at least had one good thing to say. He's like, Dad, you've got the scepter. You wanted it all your life. And now you're complaining that you don't get to live eternally with the freaking elves?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm proud about Catherine O'Hara for? She did Home Alone 2. And then after that, she's like, I'm out. I did it once. I did it twice. I'm going out on top.
I can only lose the kids so many times.
Right. And then she did the Nightmare Before Christmas after Home Alone.
Yes.
Wild.
Why is that wild?
I don't know. It's just interesting. Okay. I always feel like Nightmare Before Christmas came before Home Alone. She was in Dick Tracy?
Yes, Blake.
Wow.
All right, friends. I'm going to let you go.
You can't get any better than Catherine. She's awesome.
My name's Mary.
My name is Blake.
And do you want to say the fancy goodbye word?
No, that's your job.
I'm too busy.
Come on, you can do it.
No, I don't even know what it is. I'm just going to say namaste.
No, it's Namarie.
Exactly. God bless you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Especially you, Catherine O'Hara, if you're listening. Oh, not as cool as HBC, but you're close.